wiggling around the state law to keep the money coming in. These ones completely repealed their home-based business license. Farmington's website now says you don't need a license from Farmington City to operate a business out of your home. South Ogden sent a letter to home-based business license holders, which read in part, "The letter is notice that your city license application will now be closed. Good luck with your future success. We applaud these cities for disengaging on this issue and leaving small home-based businesses alone because they are the overwhelming minority. It will be necessary to petition the legislature to amend the law and clarify the intent of the existing law in more explicit detail. More on that as the next legislative session gets underway in January." Oh boy.
Which is what we're in right now. So you can see they working around that administrative.
South Bend doing the same thing.
Well, not quite, but
They've been going for 2 years
sticky.
too.
I think it's sticky at best. And if you can run David Church out of words, it's,
So I think we ought to look at our fees for sure and be able to justify them.
well, and then again, that brings it back to that,
Brings it back to that.
the $2,100, our study's gonna be more than,
And then-
Well, it depends on how we do the study.
that's true. It has to hold up in court.
It does, so it's not me just thinking about it for a minute.
Can I ask a question? So you have commercial areas in Daniel, right?
Mhm.
This is only applying to a home-based business.
That's
correct? So what are your fees for like a commercial business? Do you have fees for that?
It's the same, we ran $60, it's the
It's
same.
the same.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't look at it increasing unless the impact. If there's something that's not in our book that says this use isn't allowed, and we have to do some other use, then we would look at enhancing that fee.
So you could, as you're doing zone changes,
If you have a
where it's
trucking,
a commercial lot, you could still take fees from them.
Yeah.
Just not from home base.
absolutely, yeah, that's what this is protecting, is home base. Yeah, they're not regulating business in any, but it's the home base thing, and like he says, somebody ran the thing. There's been a lot of talk at the legislature for the last, 3 sessions we've been talking about. How long have we been doing this, John?
Oh, wow.
A lot of those businesses still want a business license, is it just not required?
Well, and there's a lot of things that,
Because I know in banking, they always ask for
Yep.
your business license.
absolutely, yeah, if you get a
So
loan, they
apparently
want
you
to know if
still
you're
want it.
licensed.
Yeah,
Yeah, they want to know if you're licensed, so. But I think there's a difference between requiring it and optional.
Okay.
If
I have
asked-
a comment along this lines. We were in business for 20 years in Heber City, and Heber City never required us to have a business license because of the type of business I was running in Heber City.
Based on,
Based on that I was, that I didn't create a sales tax revenue for them. Because
I've never got a license here, and I need to, I will. I'm just in that process right now. I've kind of been under the same impression as him with this. I don't have a problem getting one, I just like, I need to do it.
Sorry, you interpret that as, now if it's optional, you could charge the fee if the person wanted to have a business
yeah,
license.
it's where it's required to have the issue.
Okay.
Like I'm licensed with the state, but
Yeah.
I've never done here. Primarily though, I've worked away from here, that's why I never really.
And that was the same thing in Heber City. I'm
What's
licensed
that?
different ways, and
That's what I'm saying.
I didn't
Yeah,
get it
that's
from
what-
them.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and I was just saying,
I asked Heber City several times, because it was a hassle to go to the bank and say, I don't have a business license.
right?
They
Yeah,
won't issue me one.
Yeah, they won't give you a loan. They won't.
Well, I've never had any problem getting loans, but I'm licensed with the state.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I can see where some of these cities are coming from on these 2 letters you've read to, about businesses, but basically I run my books out of a
Yeah,
corner office.
and that's why I have one, because my construction office used to be where the planning office is now.
Yeah. My office was in the seat of my truck 90% of the time.
And on the road.
The town and the council members have other options of revenue. I mean, we've always bragged about, since the town was first formed, that property taxes have actually came down. And it comes down because the town doesn't assess more money.
Right.
Well, if you start to lose revenues because of the state legislature, who could change that next year?
Yeah, good.
But if you did lose those revenues, now you could go over to the other side of the coin and pick those monies up.
Right.
So what we're trying to do at all times, if I understand the town correctly and the council members, is we're always trying to cover our overhead, not really get rich on the thing. But
Well-
there's the other option, if you decide to follow the legislature, not fight this thing, be like the Heber City, or Heber Light Power. We have a service fee that's $12. My electrical bill was $11.99, so the fee is more than the electrical bill.
Gas does the same thing.
So, you know, if all of a sudden we decide we want to follow the legislature, then we say, okay, the only guy in town that's really got a big impact is so-and-so. And he's causing the town to spend more money for cleanup or who knows what. Okay, so he's gonna pay a business license, but the other 35 are not. But what we're gonna have to do is get involved with upping other taxes.
Right.
I think you could still make it the optional deal and not lose as much revenue. I know
There'd be a lot of folks that would
we
still
would take
get
the
one.
option and still pay.
But that's different than passing an ordinance saying you require it. That's why I bring that up here.
Oh, I might be misunderstanding, but I think we are still able to regulate businesses in our town. Whether, what we charge them and stuff like that
That's your zoning and planning, absolutely, you can.
is different, and we ought to look at that, but I think we're a long ways from not being able to regulate businesses and stuff in our town. Just because some town decides not to do it, and this particular person applauds that, doesn't mean that we need to do that.
Well, that paper right downloaded from the League of Cities in Town.
Yeah,
So
but that's
that
certainly
wasn't-
not everybody's opinion.
No, and this is his opinion too, David
No.
Church.
Yeah, no,
So,
although he's got a great opinion, very knowledgeable.
he is, yeah. Yeah, I agree. So it finally made it to the book anyway, so that stuff's in the book now. This is the latest.
You gotta cover our exorbitant salaries.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is the 2017 edition. This part wasn't in all the books, because obviously the legislature, right? So that was just some of the things that I've come across that I'm like,
Oh, boy.
Any other major, Eric, you want to bring up?
I don't think so. I think that's enough, don't you think?
I do, so we're tabled and moving on
Yeah.
with that next time or something?
Yeah, it's continued. We continued it, right? We didn't table it? Okay. All right, that takes us to,
What's the difference? I don't know, I'm sorry.
Tabling, I'm sorry. Eric can probably explain better between table and continue. Table, you don't know when you're bringing it up again.
Continues just, it's on the next agenda.
right, yeah, so if you table something, it just goes away, basically sits in limbo until somebody brings it back. And sometimes if you get a feisty council, you'll have somebody agree to do that. Motion to table, and then somebody will second, and then they'll vote, and it just, if it's a contentious issue, then somebody has to bring it back on the agenda. So if you get sparring council, you'll get that back and forth, they'll table it, then they'll bring it back. It just keeps going. Okay, that takes us to the planning report. So, I have this planning report. We have a couple other things that's going on in parallel to that. If you'd like. Sure. Since I'm acting mayor, that sounds terrible, I don't want to sign it. Sounds terrible. Makes me sad. Anybody want a report? Do you report? Sherry, do you need one?
Same one we
You're not
got-
on there.
same one we got in
It
prior
is,
meeting.
yeah, same one you got in the Okay, you're good? You need one? Okay. So there's a report. You got any questions for me on anything that's on that? Great, moving on.
Yeah, on this stop work order, did you guys get the message?
That you paid and moved it back and that we were gonna
I
interview.
moved it.
That you're.
Yeah, and I think Ryan he's was out of town at a conference all week, so I think Ryan will be in touch with
But I
you.
left you a message.
Yep,
so it
and
should
he
be-
forwarded over to me and
So what's the Rob Armstrong Mill Road?
Rob Armstrong has met with Summit Engineering, and he is putting together, has that been submitted yet, Kimberly?
I've not seen anything.
Okay, he tells me that it's in the works, that zone change on Mill Road, Highway 40.
It's in the enterprise zone.
Yeah. So we'll be looking forward to that pretty quick.
Or a zone change?
Zone change, yeah.
Another meeting.
Another meeting, so.
Now zone changes can come once a year?
Yeah, so it's set to go in front of the planning, they have to be turned in by July.
Yeah.
So that's when it'll start going through, and then according to our code, that goes through planning and then onto the council before November. So,
So the stop work order's been fixed?
Yes, sir.
Is that right?
thank you. So while you're looking at that, let me pass this out. This is the deck regulation, and I don't think you was here for this, John. This was after the council had made some changes on some numbers. You guys got,
I'll take one for now, decide what to do with it.
okay. So those are the numbers the council was looking at on deck. So if we're gonna regulate decks, that's what we're gonna regulate. Anything that exceeds those numbers.
So why are we regulating decks?
For safety.
I'm sorry you missed that meeting, John.
Yeah.
I asked them, why do you want the town to step in and save you from yourself? They wanted us to.
Who's they?
Everybody was here.
Oh, the town members?
Yeah.
Why are you building with that?
No, but it's just more government.
They probably didn't realize at the time that it was gonna cost them so much more money. The more I thought about it, the more I
Yeah,
thought, my goodness, this is gonna cost,
more than the deck.
Yeah.
it's gonna cost you $2,500 just to get off the ground. By the time you get it engineered and a building permit,
Yeah,
holy cow.
it's
Put it
expensive.
on the ground.
But
Well, still, even if you get over, if you exceed 200 square feet,
Yeah.
if you cover a patio, do you still need a building permit to cover a patio with a roof?
Anything with the roof has to be
Yeah.
engineered.
Yeah.
So can they get away with not having the deck requirements and just, because it's covered?
It has to be engineered.
no, they can't.
either you'll help or.
Just
Still
here
around
on
it,
it.
of course, we'd like to see what's involved to tear down that old barn and back. One more substantial one.
Yeah.
May not fall on you.
We do have a few of those.
Has planning talked about whether we should regulate decks or not?
Oh, yeah.
This is, their recommendation was tighter than what this is, we increase it on.
From what planning gave?
Yes.
Really?
They had 70 square feet. And also number 2 we took out was any surface that was longer than 7 feet.
I don't think we need to regulate decks.
You should have been here.
What started this whole thing, John, is someone was gonna build a deck. They were told they had to need a permit. And then all of a sudden, there was a wall that went up on the deck, and then the roof connected with the existing structure.
Yep.
Next thing you know, the town was taking on some liability for engineering and what have you. So that's what started this whole
I
episode.
understand. I know the place.
And that's all I know.
Yeah.
And at that point, he didn't until he put the wall up. He didn't need,
Yeah.
he didn't.
You need it.
But as soon as the wall went up, then it's an accessory structure, and suddenly everything comes into play at that point, so.
But tell me, Eric, if no one would have caught this going on, and then the next thing you know, you had a liability suit for some reason on this deck, is the town responsible when they don't have a deck code?
I don't know if, I know we're more liable if we inspect it and there's a problem.
Yeah, you're probably more if he's involved, liability.
So, it's like the ag buildings, we say we don't regulate them. We don't, we issue a permit, but we don't, we tell them right up front, we don't do an engineering spec on ag building. Have fun. So we've absolved ourselves from the liability because we didn't do a plan review. We don't do that on ag buildings. But we have state law to back us up that says we don't have to do that, so.
It's different for decks.
But for decks, I mean, what, a few of these items in here come right out of the International Building Code. So that's that number you see this referenced. That's out of the International Building Code.
What international building code?
The International
The
Building Code.
IDC,
Well, yeah,
the international building codes I've seen don't say what needs to be. They tell you how to engineer it, how to design it, and all of that. They don't say what needs to be engineered. I'd like to see that. I'll have to read that.
Want that referenced?
Gary Walton did a lot of the research to come up with these numbers.
Come up with this.
If you wanted to talk to him, when
Okay.
he got his.
No, it wasn't Gary Walton, it was Gary.
Not Gary. I
Gary
was
Wade.
calling Gary Walton.
Gary Wade.
Thanks.
and a lot of these numbers come out, also out of the Heber City. I mean, that was one he brought to planning.
The other thing, the international building code is not required to be followed. We don't have to follow the IDC. It's not a governing body that says you have to do this.
But we've adopted those regulations, right?
Well, if we have them, then that's it. Then we need to.
Yeah, I think we've adopted those codes. So, back to this is what we have
Okay.
as far as our numbers. Would you like to bring it back on the agenda, John?
Yeah, I don't want it, so whatever we need to do to talk about it again, but maybe I'm the only one, so outvote me, let's move on.
I voted against this. So, you're not the only one, but that's only 2 of us, so. I didn't want to be safe for myself.
Move to continue.
And I certainly understand the issue on the corner, but I don't want one issue to enforce all of this.
John, there was 3,000 bills introduced this year in the legislature. I'm just like you. I'd like to see government stay down if possible.
Yeah.
But if we need a deck code, we need a deck code. That's up to you.
I understand.
Perhaps you just need a better definition of when it's not a deck.
Make a move to
Yeah.
continue this,
Yeah,
Rather than a code for decks.
What, that more or less kind of defines what a deck is.
Yeah, this defines what we're gonna regulate.
yeah.
So over these numbers, we're gonna
In
regulate.
other words, you could still build a deck if it was under the 3-step level and it was in these parameters, and you wouldn't need a permit.
That's right. Yeah, if the deck area is less than 200 square feet,
200 or 125?
well, supported by the dwelling, or not supported by the dwelling is 200. The one that are supported is 120 square feet. So we had those two different, we were talking
10 by
about,
12, that's a pretty small deck.
Oh, you wouldn't even build a 10 by 12, would you?
It's not like a permit be like that.
Houses.
Talking about a little balcony
Houses
on
like
Oh, yeah.
a second story, but we've
There
got
you
to
Yeah,
cover
but then
that,
it's
you
still
know.
gonna be, the second story's,
They're all
It's gonna fall
over,
into
they're
this
all
anyway.
over down in the other communities. If
Yeah.
you've got a deck like that in the backyard.
You got a huge one.
well, I think what came up was we had, in our last meeting, we had somebody that had requested us to come and inspect the water heater. And so if you're in Heber, you have to get a permit to change your water heater.
Wow.
So, and I think that came up in the last meeting, it's like, how much regulation do we?
Do we want?
So, if you'd like to put this on the agenda, we'll continue it and bring it up next month again.
Let's continue it. Make a motion to continue.
Have a motion to continue, is there a second?
I second it.
Okay, I have a motion, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so we'll continue the deck in part of the planner report.
Eric, can you explain to me what the Heber City, the public notice and hearings in close proximity to Daniel?
Yeah, Heber City is, well, I don't know that they're required. They are nice enough to send us anything that's in close proximity to the town of Daniels. They will send those public notices to me, and they also send them to Chip. I don't know if you get those also, Mary, or not. But they'll send that out as a courtesy to us, anything that's getting close or may impact the town,
Okay.
back and forth. And so, what I'll do is we'll go meet with Heber City if we have any issues of something that's gonna maybe have an impact on the town. We've been to several of where their zone and where we put up on our boundaries. And they'll put in high density housing, and so we've had several of those that all of a sudden, from one neighbor, going from 2 neighbors to all of a sudden you have 15 on your 5-acre parcel, and so that's quite an impact. We have been successful in getting them to not increase the density in a couple of those, or put larger lots on the perimeter. So we've been able to kind of work through some of that, but it's still quite impactful.
I'm not saying you smell of horse in
Well, we still get that. We still get they are objecting to the smell of horse.
Yeah, that's coming.
Yeah. Yes, they are still.
It is.
So, right now, we have pretty good, she just notices me, and I'm able to work through that. I have requested with Tony, and the mayor wants me to kind of move forward on
Are you referring to like Tony Kohler or?
Tony Kohler.
Okay.
the city planner.
Yes.
Sorry. The mayor's requested, and this will probably appear on the agenda next month. So look at this zone that we have down the middle of our town. It's on the edge of the town.
Yeah.
So these properties, they're unique because state law won't allow annexation on a property unless you annex the entire property.
Yep.
As you can see, the town boundary runs down the middle
Of a lot.
of those properties. And so Heber City's against state law saying they can't annex those properties. This has all been annexed into Heber now right up to this line, right here, right in this section. So, right here, sorry. So they have roads that's coming right to there, and they just stop. So the mayor wants us to look at these properties, annexing this, squaring up that boundary, and looking at that industrial zoning in that section.
Is that any of the stuff that I have over there?
It's probably budding that. 'Cause this is the town, so this area right here. So these things are, yep, so right up against you.
So they're looking to do what now?
Squaring this up, Heber City's to this line with roads coming this way. So we're looking at squaring it up and then looking at the zoning in this section.
Does this split any more property lines, Eric, or?
Yes, no, there's no property line split from the Heber City side, only from the Daniels side. Because it's illegal to do that, but the
Yeah.
county council did that when they just drew the line.
Oh.
Because they were able to do it when you make a town and just draw a
Draw a
line.
line.
So that's what they did.
But now if we try to
Sounds like
annex
an
this, is it along property boundaries?
This Erickson piece goes clear to here.
Yeah, but I'm wondering about
No,
these
Mary
over here
Jo comes.
specifically.
When she comes back,
She goes even further, she goes up to here.
well, she owns that, I think she has more right there. That, maybe, I thought she owned it.
Yeah, it probably does come back into here. But it looks quite a bit wrong. So the rock yard's here.
No, that's, yeah,
So this will probably be on the agenda next month, just heads up. We'll be
Great.
working towards looking at
Annexing.
annexing that, and we'll have to do that without a petition. So the council will have to initiate that. So that'll be on the agenda, we'll talk about that.
Is there a better map that gives the current property owner boundaries, whether they're in Daniels or Heber?
No, everybody's in charge of their own, so.
I wonder if that might be more helpful for us too, to understand.
See the property boundaries in that great, in the
was
white
very
zone
different.
there.
Yeah, the white zone doesn't show anybody's property or who owns what.
Right, because it's outside the town, it wasn't annexed in
Yeah.
when they made the town. So Heber City's map shows all the colors of the zoning that abuts us. So some of the highest density that they have is along that line.
Would they object to us annexing?
I don't know, and that's what I was talking to Tony about, is we need to clean up this. And so we may be able to do it without even annexing, we might be able to do a,
Readjustment?
yeah, just a boundary adjustment between the two municipalities. Because we're kind of under, the state law is conflicting on those properties, so.
That would be easier, wouldn't
I think so, I mean, that's what we did with Charleston, remember, down the middle of the
Yeah.
highway?
it? Yeah.
They annexed the entire thing, and then we just drew the line down the middle of the highway.
Yeah.
It was just a boundary adjustment, so it just depends on what cooperation we get.
So
Along
we
those
probably
lines.
won't be able to do it.
I'm hopeful, John. Okay, the other thing, did I put on here the dog? I didn't. We had a complaint on some dogs on Southfield Road. I have sent a letter has gone out. I got a call back, it went to the wrong address, and they wanted to know how mean their little wiener dog was, so. But it was good news that they called, because I was able to verify that the person that was supposed to get that notice didn't get it. Went to the
I'm
wrong
next
address.
door to them,
That is across,
across the street.
yeah. So I resent that letter. So we have some folks that have been walking on Southfield Road and been trapped on the other side of 3000 South, not able to get back. We have some aggressive dogs.
But they're fenced in.
They're not fenced in.
Oh, they're not.
So I had one written complaint and then several more that jumped on board once that was presented. So the letters went out.
One mayor said, first letters, try to talk to neighbors. Probably
Yeah.
so well, fire.
Well, and they've had sticks with them and mace, and they've tried a bunch of different remedies. But so referenced in that letter was the 80112, which is a nuisance, the 5216, which is the dangerous or vicious animal, and also the 529, which is Utah code for those, for that same.
Do the wiener dog show his teeth?
No, They wanted to know how it got out and how it was so mean, so. It was awesome, we had a response.
So this is a reoccurring thing?
Yeah,
It's not just
this
a
has
dog,
happened, and I,
the breakage chain? and
right,
whatnot.
right, and there's 2 of them. I've been over 3 times. I haven't been able to catch the dogs out, because that's the easiest thing, if I can see it,
Oh, yeah.
you know, then,
Then
but hopefully we can work through this. I haven't had a response. He has 30 days to respond, and then we will move forward with,
Whatever we have to.
yeah, if we have to get him cited, then that's what we'll do, or, I think the house is a long ways off the road, so, like you say, it may come to somebody walking with something that does a bigger job. So, anyway, that went out.
Yeah, Deputy Meekum and I have some experience on this dog issue.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd
We'll be
rather
looking
not
to your
bring up-
expertise. We'll be looking for your
Oh.
expertise.
Yeah. Enough said about that, huh?
We came to an understanding, didn't we?
Yeah.
Back in a firearm, of course you did.
Yeah.
Of course you did.
So was he.
Oh, yeah, I probably.
Yes,
had
sir?
something.
Yes, sir. Very good. Okay, item number 7, water contract review for the Daniel Water, Municipal Water, and Storm Haven, so it'll cover them both. Okay. So what we was looking at there was a contract for new services to be signed. That would, why don't you tell them what it does, Ken? You're the author.
Well, no, I'm really, I just made a couple of
Adjustments? Okay.
adjustments, corrections, but what we found out after talking to the town attorney is we need to have a contract with all the customers that are on the system. And then if we're finding some delinquency in payment, if we have a contract in place, we're able to lien against those properties to collect that money. Without a contract, we cannot do that. And so, basically, that's what we're trying to do, is just get a contract that protects the town a little bit.
So is, I guess attorney's seen this, he's had this one in front of him?
He actually co-authored some of the changes.
Did he?
Or put his suggestions. And
Okay.
then his secretary typed it up and sent it back.
Okay, so it's on the agenda to be discussed or approved, whatever you'd like to do tonight.
So help me understand the G thing. It says type of connection, G existing, G new service, G reconnection.
Where you at, John?
The
Right.
4th or 5th line, and then I look at number 1 and it's got a G in front.
I think it's supposed to be a circle, is what I'm thinking, for you to pick one or the other,
Oh, so you
Check
just
one.
pick one,
is what I think is supposed to be.
Like if I'm already on the city.
then you'd
I
circle
just
that
circle
one.
it, Yeah, existing connection.
Okay.
Or if we've been terminated, it's a reconnection.
So we probably ought to say circle the correct connection type. Or circle your
Well, I
connection
think
type. or
it's
something.
supposed to be like something like this, and then you're supposed to check it, whatever you want it.
I think
I
in
think
part-
it's supposed to be
Probably supposed to be the bubble.
a bubble,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, I
okay.
see a bubble, because if it says correct title,
Well, I am, or I am the renter, I'm either the owner or I'm the renter, so you would choose one or the other of those two statements.
so you circle that in here,
Well, I would just, okay.
That's confusing.
Yeah, okay.
If that were a
Maybe it's
bubble,
just
I
to
think it would
me.
be clearer to the
Yeah.
person reading it.
Yeah.
so the bubble on the type of connection, and you just check that? Yeah,
Yeah,
I agree.
Process.
Or a box, or,
yeah. and type of connection and maybe select one or circle one or check one.
Well, on this one,
Or a
yeah.
box, I think.
Well, this one is you're circling, am I the recorded
Yeah.
owner or I'm the trustee?
Just up here though, this G doesn't have anything to do with this G, right?
No, it doesn't, but I think this is supposed to be a
Oh,
bubble.
they're all bubbles.
I
Yeah.
think they're supposed to be bubbles.
Okay, all
Boxes.
bubbles.
And then you're either an existing connection you service or
That,
connection.
yeah, okay. If they're all bubbles, I understand, fine. Sorry.
Okay, so how does the language look to you? Does it look,
It looks long.
it is long.
It's scary, it's so long. To me.
It basically says about everything that the Heber City Water Agreement
Says.
states. When I went and got that, if I remember right.
So is this something we fill out once?
Yeah.
Okay. Then that's, the length's probably okay.
It's like going to the bank to get a loan.
Yeah.
I mean, not now, it used to be there's only 3 papers, now it's 3 inches thick. I wish there was a way to shorten it. I'm like Trump, I'd like to do the taxes on a postcard. But you've got to be able to cover the bases here, that's why we send it out to the town attorney. So I don't have an answer for that one either, John.
And the town attorney has approved this?
Yeah.
So what's DMV versus DMW? Down in number 5.
Daniel Municipal Water,
It's probably supposed to be down
Yeah, I mean, there's any-
unless you want to do it.
yeah, that's a typo, that should be DMW. That's all that is a typo.
So what's the late fee we're imposing? Can you point to that one, Ken? Or is there?
There is a late fee, and it's called out for in one of the resolutions or, what's the other terminology I'm looking for? Resolution,
Ordinance or resolution.
ordinance, there we go, thank you.
But that could vary, this contract just covers it.
Okay. So you have a 45-day grace period. So their bills due the 30th of the month, is that right?
First of the month.
The first for the water they will be receiving, for the water they received the
The
previous
water
month.
they receive,
Okay, and then I would have a month and a half to pay that bill.
yeah.
Okay.
I know we had that 6-month thing, remember we talked about in the spring and the fall
Yeah.
of bringing everybody current, so. I think this was kind of an overlap with what that says in that. I believe that one was the resolution we had under the original ordinance.
I think some of the discussion we had last time was whether we send that resolution out to the contractor.
Yeah, somebody suggested we do that. And again, my question on, I have a couple of questions on this.
Yeah.
One is, if I'm already a customer, how do you propel me to sign this? Because I don't think legally you can.
Yeah.
And the second item is number 3, and lien against the property.
I think the only way you could attach a lien is probably if you're delinquent on the payment.
Well, again, back to the book, I'll just read it to you. The city or town, this is under water rates and fees. City or town cannot condition the connection of a water to a house on the payment by a new owner of the previous owner water bills. That's what our attorney told us. Water bills are personal in nature and do not attach to the land as a lien. You have to go after the individual who signed up for the water and not the person who is now buying or renting the house that wants to connect. In other words, when the title company calls you to see what liens or assessments are owed on a piece of property for a closing, you are not supposed to say that an old water bill needs to be paid. In addition, when the new owner comes into the offices to hook up his or her water, you cannot make them pay for the previous owner's overdue balance.
Whoa.
I agree with that.
That's different
If they
than what
didn't know
we've
ahead
taught,
of time,
isn't it?
with a lien, they know.
Well,
right?
that's one thing that sparked this, is that when we didn't have local title companies that would call up and say, is there a bill on this? We would say, yeah, and they put it in their settlement and send us a check. Well, that's supposedly illegal, but if that's the truth, then our town attorney is not doing his job.
Yeah.
So if you want two opinions, invite two attorneys.
But without this document here, the town can pretty much expect not to collect all the money all the time. And the people that pay for that's the customer, the user,
Yep.
eventually the user.
So, I mean, I agree with the documented principle, but some of these things we might need to double check.
Well, we have really not charged anybody. If the old owner owed us money,
Yeah.
if it was caught at closing, we did collect the money. But if it's not caught at closing, then you're out the money, because the town attorney has told us you cannot pursue that,
The new owner,
the new one.
you can still pursue the old owner as personal debt.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've heard this argued both ways. Some people have said that, well, if the bill doesn't get paid, you just don't turn the water on for the new owner and then it'll get paid. And that's the way it is down here, and that's the way it is over here.
Tom Rollins, he's paid the old bill as the renters moved out.
Yeah.
Salt Lake just says, well, turn on until it's paid.
Yeah.
So he's paid it.
Yeah.
I'm sure he'll be very interested to hear this.
Yeah.
Well, this is an opinion, isn't it, right here?
No. This is, well, do you want the codes he cited? Utah Code 1136A 101, Utah Code 1136A 102, parentheses 7. He's also got the example for the legal plat versus the town of Torrey. P2D 325, so he's citing case law. Utah Code 10814, case law plat versus the town of Torrey, again. And Utah Code 107-10.5, parentheses 2. So,
Well, I don't think you should hold the new owner responsible, but I think is, for instance, if we know that there's a home for sale right now and there's a big water bill on it, it's still under the old ownership. So you go out and you do a notice of interest at the recorder's office, so that when the property closes, that particular individual or entity that owed the money, before they can sell the property, they have to take care of that cost.
see, that would be the
Be a lien. Or, wait a minute, it doesn't have to be a lien. It could be a notice of interest, which is a document.
yeah.
So the title company says, these people claim they have a notice of interest. Maybe we better go check it out. But an attorney will tell you, a lien is a lot more powerful than a notice of interest. See, I don't know why I'm talking like that. I don't know any of this legal, but, you know, you hire attorneys to do this, and all of a sudden you've got different opinions.
At $320 an hour.
But I think
You'll be way over
this
those
contract makes it so that we can expose this owner that owes the bill before he can settle out, and that's great. So whatever instrument we use is up to us.
I do know last week I did have a title company call, not that it was particular to like our water, but they were calling in regards to garbage because they were researching and found that there was something, I don't know whose property it was on, but they did find something on it that they were trying to figure out how to resolve.
That would be the
A
county
garbage,
on the
right.
garbage bill. So
Right.
the counties went in and put a cloud on that title.
Somehow they, yeah.
Yeah.
And so they called the office trying to figure out how to get it resolved. So some title companies, I think, are probably looking.
Yeah, well, it's a little bit different. What we're talking about here is the county, they'll give you the opportunity, and what they do is they change that into a bill against the taxes. And so that's where the garbage will attach. And we can do that as a town. We can switch that, get the judgment, and then attach the property taxes. As a taxing entity, we can do that. But just to put a lien on, I don't think we can do it. But we could change that, get the personal judgment, and then attach the property tax. Because that goes to the old owner when he sells it.
How about if the transaction's already happened, he's gone?
And I don't think you're able to do that, because you can't get it, you can't get the judgment, he's gone.
Well,
Typically, how
that's how
long do you
we've
go?
lost the money.
Yeah. And again,
But we're
how much
trying-
money are we chasing? I mean, that comes to the thing again, at $35 a month.
Well, typically, how long do you let a customer go before you shut off their water? I mean,
$500 or $600 sometimes.
Depends on the overage if they're
oh,
using.
really?
Well, if they're using overage, we have people that burn through a lot of water in the summer.
Mm,
Yeah, Storm Haven area up there, some of them do not have irrigation shares, so they're irrigating out the culinary. So it can get high. But that's why we thought, well, if they're not current in April and October, we'll shut them down then. That'll only allow them either the summer. What we wanted to do is shut down before we got into freezing situations and cause ourselves a headache. So we thought those 2 times of the year, everybody would have to be current.
Here's my question. Why are we letting it get that many months out though? Heber City does not allow that. If you were 2 months behind, they are out shutting water
Oh,
off.
they're threatening to shut
Even-
off in 1 month.
It's 30
Even
days
Twin Creeks,
right
they,
here.
yeah.
The last paragraph right here, you guys might want to see or hear.
But they have full-time staff.
Yeah.
We don't have full-time
Well, it
staff.
might be easy to incorporate.
Do you have a lot of problems with it? I mean, is it a big problem?
We've got 45 days in there, I mean, that's,
How big a problem are we looking
Ample
at,
time.
Ken? How many runaways do we have?
Oh, I think the history on that's under 2,000 a year.
I mean, how many folks are we talking?
How many what?
Folks, how many customers?
Hookups.
Total hookups?
No,
No,
that
how
we've
many
lost.
services are we
How
having
many are we
issues
talking
with?
about?
4 or 5,
$4
6?
bill.
4 or 5,
We
6?
could have 3.
3.
Like you're on
We don't have a bunch of hookups, so
All I'm trying to say is if I get something
out there to work.
posted, then it stops this from happening. And I don't feel like it should go to the owner, obviously. But my goodness, you ought to get people to pay their bills.
Yeah.
And if they're gonna get a check for $180,000, and they have a $600 water bill they need to take care of, I imagine they'd pay that so they keep their hands on the rest of it. But if the lien is not the way to do it, tell me how to do it. Let's do it.
I can only tell you how not to. Just- They didn't tell me,
Okay, if
they
that's
didn't tell me
true,
this works, they just said this
if
doesn't
that's
work.
true, how's Heber City doing it?
I don't know.
They just shut them off.
They just shut them off in 30
They'll shut
days.
you off.
Right there.
When we were there, I'd been a customer for 14 years.
Okay, so if you can catch them in the
So-
house, taking a shower, and you turn the water off, you'll most likely get paid the next week if they haven't left town. That's the concept of that, okay.
I guess.
so,
That it's not gonna
So
accrue
if-
to the
if-
$400 or $500.
Yeah, you're not getting 2 months into them.
Yeah.
you know, if a customer gets this and they don't sign it, and for some reason down the road, but they keep paying their bill, but somehow down the road, they miss a couple of payments, then it gets turned off and until it gets turned on.
There's a fee to
We have a customer right now that, the water's been turned off for 6 months. And I believe it was a bank foreclosure. I don't know if the house will ever sell. But I know the water's turned off. Okay. Let me ask you this, is it legal to keep charging him $35 a month? Sure.
That's our policy, if there's water available to them.
Where is that policy?
That's what's the one we got when we got it from the private company. If water is available, we build them, if there's a meter set.
I've never seen that policy.
You should, you're a water guy.
Yeah.
I remember something like that. Yeah.
We have Valpolson, we have several that have
Oh, we
meters,
have a lot.
that have meters set that aren't taking any.
In fact, we've got 3 people that,
You're paying each month.
Okay.
you know, they didn't want to pay the new hookup fee.
Right.
And so they paid the old hookup fee. And when they come on, you know, then it'll be $35 a month. We've got to set the box.
Right, you have to set the box before we start charging.
But we do have a lot of boxes set and nobody's using them. And we have a lot of people in the system that leave in the winter time. They're like the robins, they fly south.
Can't blame them.
I
They're
don't
coming
know.
back already.
So I thought is if you have the ability to get water, you're paying $35.
Yeah, when we come down, if they wanted a can set, that was their policy back then, when it was private. We'll set the can while we're here, but you'll just pay the 35.
At
'cause
least I don't have overage
See,
fees.
we've got an individual that's called up and said, I don't want to pay the 35. And I have a box set, but I don't have a house there.
Tell them to surrender
And
their
I'm
their
selling-
hookup.
And I'm selling the property. Well, I'd like to be able to go up and let anybody that goes by that property or a settlement company know that there's a bill on it. Now, if you don't do that, I don't know when he's gonna sell the property.
Well,
And
Right.
boom.
Right.
it's like you said, charging in pickup,
Yeah, surrender their hookups if they don't want to pay them.
surrender the hookup.
It does say that here. I think it's around
I'm glad you pay your
9 or
35
10.
Yeah.
We'll charge you for a new hookup. But
For a
that's,
long time.
if that guy's gone and he sold the place,
We ain't using no water.
he's not using any water, right? But he had an outstanding bill from months ago.
Probably write that off as a loss.
Okay. That's what we'll do.
So it sounds like we need to continue to review this document or something, or?
I'll close that vote.
If I'm being in business, you're always gonna have a percentage of people.
You
who
do,
are
you have
not
uncollectibles.
paying, and you're gonna spend a lot to try to collect,
$100.
and they know it.
Yeah,
Some of them aren't
it's
worth
been
it.
good.
So sometimes you're spending more chasing it than you are just letting.
Yeah, but like Kim says, it's not fair to the other people on the
No, it's
system.
not.
We're trying to upgrade and get the water system up, and it's not fair to them.
No, you gotta do everything you can, but there are those
Yeah.
situations where you're gonna spend a lot more than you're
Oh,
gonna ever
absolutely.
recoup, which is also going on your user.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just
Well, there's
reality.
always, yeah, there's always gonna be a one or two.
You've got
But this-
50% of your users that have signed this contract, not in the form it's in right now, but it is basically, I mean, 96% like this, they've already signed.
So why do we need this one?
Because the old one doesn't, like file a lien, it doesn't give you the right to collect the money like we're trying to do.
So how do we proceed with this? Do we continue to look at it? I don't know that we're ready to approve it tonight, maybe you guys are.
Just a typo.
Well, the lien thing,
Now you can't do it.
Can they?
that's in there. Type of things.
Your town attorney doesn't know you can't make it. His suggestion is you can. And here's the document that'll take that
It's
forward.
because he makes money either way.
Yeah.
Maybe we should ask for the money back.
He'll lean us.
You can shut the door next time we come in.
Again,
Ask him a
it's
legal
just David
question.
Church with the thing, so I don't know. Like John says, he is a very good attorney. But ours is a very good attorney too. I hope they work this out, not on our dime.
Yeah.
Okay, so is that a motion to continue?
Yeah, I think so, but I wonder, do we need to do something in between now and then to move it along instead of just bring it up next
Just
month?
get the typos done on it.
Well, I'm sure the mayor will be interested in.
Do we need the attorney to look at it again with this information about the lien and providing that and say, hey, what about this?
I don't know, I've never told the attorneys wrong, so.
There's no time like the present.
Maybe you should just show him that little thing you said, maybe you haven't,
Just
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 say,
a
you
question
didn't have
here.
access to this document I have, and he wouldn't be telling me he's wrong, too much.
Too much.
But, you know, the last paragraph of this, of the Daniels agreement says, I agree to pay all expenses, including reasonable attorney fees,
So in this,
required by the town of Daniels in effort to collect any delinquent charges or account and/or enforcements in this agreement.
They signed your daily tickets, Mark, too, but they don't always pay.
Yeah,
Might say that too.
we're the pessimists here.
Yeah.
I've been through that.
so does this, in this contract, does it say how long one will be idle before it's,
No.
with the fees not being paid before it's forfeited? The hookup? We address that?
I think we
You mean
did.
like after 45 days of
No,
water
on
service?
these
payment?
people that have moved out of town, we'd have no,
Moved and maybe.
We have an
require
idle-
new-
and don't know if the law will ever be sold. At what point is that hookup forfeited?
Yeah, that's,
Read number 9 and see if that helps you. Mary.
Yeah, so-
It's the last sentence there.
So they could get out of it by giving us 15-day notice. Discontinue. So 15 days. If it-
Thereafter,
if it's-
water service to this location shall require payment of a new connection fee and other charges imposed by the town.
new connection, there you go. Takes care of that.
But that's if they notified us in writing in 15 days. That's not for abandonment,
Yeah.
the way I read that.
Okay, does that have to be
Wait a minute,
added to in there?
wouldn't that be inclusive of the town?
No, because number 9 says
They should.
that they will, in writing, at least 15 days. So that would only apply as if they gave you written to shut it off. There's not a non-use clause in that, as I read that. Again, I'm not an attorney.
Well, I don't know, this could go to be a 4-page document. I don't know what to tell you now, I don't know.
Yeah, just to add a sentence in there. Still keep it a 2-pager.
Okay, so what are we taking for action, John? Is that your question?
Yeah, what do we do?
What are we gonna do? I'm gonna quit reading the book. No, I'm not. I can't even say that, because you know I'm gonna read the book.
Take care of typos and add in there number 9 that, let's see.
So, and see, that was actually one of my notes I took on there is water a property right? And so that's pretty much answered in there. It's not. It's a personal.
Because if if they had a well, they would have had to surrender
Or,
the property, right?
no, no, you don't have to surrender your well, right? It's a personal property you take with you.
Yeah.